A fully equipped Israeli fighter jet, flying deep inside enemy territory. The enemy activates their jammer. GPS gone, targeting frozen, weapons blind. Other air forces panic in this moment. Other militaries retreat. But the Israeli pilot doesn't even flinch, because underneath that aircraft sits a system the enemy spent billions trying to defeat. And never could. A system that looks at the most powerful jammers on Earth and makes them completely worthless. While some nations were building jammers, Israel was building the answer. While others were deploying interference systems, Israel was making them irrelevant. The result is a technology so advanced that Israeli pilots fly into the most electronically hostile airspace on Earth with absolute confidence. Because their navigation cannot be touched, their targeting cannot be broken, and their mission cannot be stopped. This is not science fiction. This is not future technology. This is operational today. This is SkyFix, and once you understand what it does, you will understand why it changed modern air warfare forever. In the skies above modern battlefields, a war is being fought that most people never see, never hear, and never fully understand. It is not fought with bullets or bombs. It is fought with invisible signals, radio waves, and electromagnetic interference that can disable the most advanced military aircraft without firing a single shot. GPS jamming has become one of the most dangerous weapons in modern electronic warfare. Every modern air force depends on GPS for navigation, targeting, and mission execution. Remove GPS and the entire operational picture collapses. Pilots lose position. Precision weapons lose accuracy. Strike missions fail. GPS jamming is cheap, effective, and spreading fast. Nations and armed groups around the world have acquired jamming technology that was once available only to superpowers. The battlefield has changed forever, and every air force has been forced to confront a terrifying new reality. The system they depend on most can be switched off by the enemy at any moment. To understand why SkyFix is so revolutionary, you must first understand how destructive GPS jamming truly is. GPS satellites orbit 20,000 kilometers above Earth. By the time their signals reach an aircraft, they are extraordinarily weak, easily overwhelmed by even modest jamming equipment. Military-grade jammers can create GPS blackouts across entire regions. When an aircraft loses GPS mid-mission, the effects are immediate and catastrophic. Navigation freezes. Targeting computers lose precision. Autopilot disengages. GPS-guided bombs and missiles go off course. The pilot is left with only inertial navigation, which drifts and loses accuracy rapidly without GPS correction. Every military plan, every coordination protocol, every weapons system is built on the assumption that GPS works. When jamming removes it, operations don't just degrade, they collapse entirely. This vulnerability was understood by adversaries long before most Western militaries took it seriously. And those adversaries deployed jamming systems specifically designed to exploit it against the most advanced air forces in the world. Few air forces operate in a more electronically hostile environment than Israel's. Advanced GPS jamming equipment has been deployed along Israel's borders from multiple directions simultaneously. Russian-supplied electronic warfare platforms in Syria, among the most sophisticated jamming systems ever built, create GPS interference extending far beyond Syrian borders, affecting aircraft across the entire region. Jamming systems positioned in Lebanon have been specifically configured to target Israeli aircraft operating along the northern border. Additional electronic interference sources in Gaza add another layer of complexity to an already saturated electromagnetic environment. The result is that Israeli Air Force pilots face GPS interference on virtually every operational mission they fly. This is not an occasional problem. It is a constant daily operational reality that cannot be avoided or ignored. Israeli defense planners understood early that working around this threat was not enough. They needed a system that made the threat completely irrelevant, regardless of how powerful or sophisticated the jamming became. The development of SkyFix was born from years of operational experience, classified research, and Israel's unique culture of defense innovation. Israeli defense companies, Elbit Systems IAI and Rafael, had been working on GPS resilience for years, but escalating jamming's sophistication forced a complete rethinking of the approach. Engineers realized that improving GPS receiver sensitivity or using better antennas was no longer sufficient. The enemy was adapting faster than incremental solutions could keep up. What was needed was an entirely new architecture, one that didn't just resist jamming, but made aircraft functionally immune to it. The breakthrough came from combining technologies that had previously existed separately. Advanced anti-jam antenna arrays, multi-constellation satellite navigation, inertial navigation fusion, and artificial intelligence signal processing into one seamlessly integrated system. When these technologies were unified under a single intelligent platform, the result was something the defense world had never seen: a navigation system that jamming simply could not defeat. At its core, SkyFix uses multiple layers of technology working simultaneously to maintain accurate navigation even under active jamming. The first layer is a controlled reception pattern antenna array, CRPA technology, that uses multiple antenna elements to electronically steer blind spots directly toward jamming sources, canceling interference before it corrupts navigation data. The second layer is multi-constellation navigation, simultaneously processing signals from GPS, Russia's GLONASS, Europe's Galileo, and other satellite systems. Overwhelming all systems simultaneously is virtually impossible for any tactical jammer. The third layer is AI-driven sensor fusion, combining satellite data with inertial navigation, barometric altitude, and onboard sensors to maintain accuracy even when satellite signals are temporarily degraded. The AI core makes thousands of adjustments per second, predicting jamming patterns and compensating before degradation affects the pilot. From the cockpit, GPS jamming simply does not happen. Navigation stays accurate. Targeting stays precise. The mission continues without interruption. What makes SkyFix truly unbeatable is not any single technology. It is the intelligent integration of all these systems working together in real time. Traditional anti-jam systems were reactive. They detected jamming and then tried to compensate. SkyFix is predictive. Its AI core continuously analyzes the electromagnetic environment, identifies jamming signatures, and adjusts parameters before interference can affect navigation accuracy. The system also incorporates graceful degradation. If one navigation source is compromised, processing weight automatically shifts to remaining reliable sources with zero interruption to the pilot. There is no alert. There is no system warning. There is no degraded mode the pilot must manage. The transition is completely invisible. Navigation simply continues working perfectly. This seamless, uninterrupted protection represents a fundamental shift in how GPS resilience is achieved. Previous generations of protection systems required pilot awareness and active management. SkyFix requires nothing from the pilot, because from the pilot's perspective, the jamming threat does not exist. Israel does not publicly discuss classified operational details of its electronic warfare systems, but results speak clearly. Since advanced GPS protection systems were integrated into Israeli Air Force platforms, precision strike missions in heavily jammed environments have maintained remarkable accuracy and consistency. Israeli aircraft have continued executing precise operations inside Syria, where sophisticated electronic warfare systems create one of the most challenging electromagnetic environments on Earth. They have maintained navigation accuracy along the Lebanese border despite sustained jamming efforts. They have sustained operational effectiveness in Gaza despite electronic interference. Defense analysts tracking Israeli air operations consistently note that Israeli aircraft demonstrate GPS resilience that other air forces struggle to replicate in similar environments. The F-35IADR, Israel's primary stealth strike platform, carries an integrated version of Israel's most advanced GPS protection technology. When Israeli pilots fly into the world's most contested airspace, they fly with complete confidence. That confidence is built on systems like SkyFix. Israel's GPS protection technology has earned global recognition in the most meaningful way possible. Other nations are buying it. Elbit Systems' advanced navigation protection platform was selected by Boeing for integration into United States Air Force F-15 aircraft. That decision alone speaks volumes. The United States, with the world's largest defense budget and most advanced aerospace industry, chose an Israeli system to protect its most iconic fighter jet. Beyond America, Israeli GPS protection technology has been exported across Europe, Asia, and beyond. Nations operating in high, jamming environments, particularly those facing sophisticated regional electronic warfare threats, have turned to Israeli solutions because Israeli systems carry something no marketing material can manufacture: proven real world combat experience. The global GPS anti-jamming market is growing rapidly as the jamming threat escalates worldwide. Israel sits at the forefront of that market, not simply as a technology provider, but as the nation with the deepest operational experience solving this exact problem under the most demanding real-world conditions imaginable. The GPS jamming threat is not slowing down. It is accelerating. Electronic warfare capabilities demonstrated in recent conflicts have shown the world how devastating GPS denial can be across an entire modern battlefield. GPS spoofing, feeding false coordinates to navigation systems while pilots believe their GPS is functioning normally, represents the next evolution of this threat. Unlike jamming, spoofing does not alert pilots that something is wrong. Aircraft follow false coordinates with complete confidence, believing they are precisely on course while actually drifting dangerously off target. Israel's defense engineers are already working on the next generation of SkyFix, systems capable of detecting and defeating spoofing attacks with the same effectiveness that current systems defeat jamming. The electromagnetic battlefield will keep evolving. Adversaries will keep developing new methods of navigation denial, but Israel has established a clear pattern. Every time a new electronic warfare threat emerges, Israeli engineers are already building the answer before most militaries have fully understood the question. SkyFix is not just a piece of military hardware. It represents something far more significant: proof that technological innovation can make an entire category of weapon obsolete. Billions were invested in GPS jamming systems specifically designed to neutralize advanced air forces. SkyFix made that investment worthless. That is an extraordinary achievement, and it carries a lesson that extends far beyond GPS. In modern warfare, the side that wins is rarely the side with the most weapons. It is the side that understands the battlefield most deeply, anticipates threats before they materialize, and builds solutions before the problem becomes a crisis. Israel has demonstrated this principle repeatedly across decades of defense innovation. Iron Dome changed the mathematics of rocket warfare. Trophy changed the mathematics of tank warfare. And SkyFix changed the mathematics of electronic warfare in the sky. The invisible war being fought above every modern battlefield has a new reality, and that reality is that jamming Israeli aircraft is no longer a viable strategy. If this video gave you a new understanding of how modern air warfare is really fought, share it with someone who thinks war is only about weapons. Subscribe for more deep dives into the military technologies that are quietly reshaping the world. And comment below, what technology do you want us to cover next? Because the most important battles of the future won't be fought with guns. They will be fought with science, engineering, and innovation. And the nations that understand that are already winning.